Well, we know with the Switch 2 announcement that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct in April, but the rumor mill has been churning that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct in February, and more specifically, maybe even this week, because
why not?
Because why not? Because it gets people
we gotta
excited.
talk about something.
One of the pieces of evidence, other than just people saying it, is that there is some maintenance scheduled for Nintendo Switch, like the system and the online aspects and that sort of thing. And that is happening the day, I think right now, basically, while we're recording this in different parts of the world at different times. But it's also like not always lined up with a direct, but it has at different times lined up with directs. So it is, I don't know, flimsy evidence, but a piece of evidence that could line up. And it's Monday that we're recording this, and as far as I know, there's been no announcement. So
David from the future will have to jump in if there's been something announced on Tuesday. Although David from the future did die canonically, so
whoa,
time travel is a fickle thing.
I feel like we're in the ending of Lost right now.
We'll have to cover that in the David from the future special episode. But anyway, I think that we have historically had directs in February, and I would not be surprised to see one in February. I would be surprised if it was a full ass direct. I could see them doing a mini, basically. Or an indie showcase, or maybe a partner showcase, or whatever they call those, right? And but yeah, it's definitely, I think there is more than enough justification. There are holes in the schedule for the Switch One. But I could just as easily see them dropping any announcement like that on Twitter, or hopefully Blue Sky. I'd love to see Nintendo hop over to that platform, but time will tell on that. But what do you think, Summer? Do you think we're going to be getting Nintendo Direct in February?
You know, it's kind of hard for me to say, because I truly do wonder what they have, or what they're going to want to announce. I wonder what's left for the Switch that they would be willing to put that much promotional material into a package of the direct format. They've already been so like not wanting to give out directs as much in the past couple of years. Like, that's been the vibe lately. So why are they going to want to do that at the end of the life cycle? Why are they going to put that energy into it when they're probably putting so much of their PR energy, or like their promotional and marketing teams are probably just like stockpiling stuff for the Switch 2. And we know we're going to get a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day on February 27th. So like we know we'll see something on that day, and anything Pokemon related can't be revealed before that either. So that's almost made the timeline a little weirder in the past couple of years for Nintendo Directs, because we know that they like to package the Pokemon information that gets revealed in the Pokemon Presents in their promos too. I don't know.
I also don't think they've ever done one in February before the 13th, maybe the 10th or the 11th. So if they do one, they tend to do it in the second half of the month. So I wouldn't expect one this week, basically. If you're going on DraftKings right now and putting bets on that, I would hold off.
Have we really gone so far?
I'm sure
I hope not.
I'm sure they're on there. That's how I make all my millions. Come on. My insider trading knowledge of Nintendo Direct.
You know, there was a time, and it was a long time ago, where January Directs were pretty common. And they could also take the form of a couple different kinds. You know, you guys mentioned like the indie directs or the partner showcases. There also were like Nintendo Direct minis, which I don't really know what really defined a mini versus a traditional or what have you, because it was very hard to tell.
I think a mini is basically akin to, it's like Jeff Keighley being like, don't expect too much from the Game Awards. You know what I mean?
Maybe,
expectations.
It's expectation temper device, basically. Yeah. So, and they've done them in the first quarter. So like, I think that the whole concept is interesting. I feel like it's a mix of people grasping at straws and just wanting something, because we're all so like stoked during this 2-month wait between the reveal and the direct for the Switch 2 that like, they've got to give us something. The only reason I could actually see them doing it, and I think it would make sense, is they still do technically have some games to get information out about, which would be Xenoblade would be one. and Metroid Prime 4, which is a huge game. So I feel like you could devote something a lot more significant than just that to it. And then the Pokemon game, ZA. But Summer, I didn't know that there was going to be a Pokemon other show. So that probably would just be reserved for that. So maybe the Pokemon game wouldn't be in a direct. The only thing I'll add to not keep us on this too long personally is I do believe there is at least one more pretty sizable game that will be announced for the Switch 1 that we don't know about before all is said and done. Knowing the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible, and so that they might not rely on it being like a cross-gen game, like they might market certain games as cross-gen. This might be just a Switch 1 game marketed as a Switch 1 game, but the benefit to Nintendo and fans is like, well, I could still play it on my Switch 2, so I'll buy it anyway. So if there was going to be a Q1 direct on top of Metroid and Xenoblade and like other indie games they might throw in, I feel like there's probably one more big Switch game that they would announce if they were going to do it this month. So that's just my theory.
I agree with you. I think there's a couple. I honestly, just off the dome piece, I'm thinking if we get one, we see Ring Fit Adventure 2. I think we see, which that was one of my 2025 predictions. I think that we see that MMO from the Nintendo Online playtest. Oh. And I think that we see Metroid Prime 2 or Metroid Prime 3. And I know that
those kinds of games, good point.
That would excite you, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Getting those playable on the Switch. But I could see those coming like before Switch 2 release, or at least Metroid Prime 2 does, right? So we'll have to see.